So we have Mr. Ayorinde Olatunde today. He's going to talk about the theory and practical aspects of literature review in research paper writing. He's a doctoral researcher in the University of Case Western Reserve in the US. And he's going to really shed light on this aspect of literature review that has been a problem to so many young researchers. So Mr. Emmanuel, please, you have the floor now. You are welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor, for inviting me for this session. I'm going to share my screen now. We're going to be opening from different pages from what I've prepared and a kind of demo. So I'm sharing my screen. I believe we can all see my screen now, right? Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir. You can.
Yeah, great. So
Yes, sir.
we want to,
Yes,
thank you. We want to master research efficiency. How do we do that? We're thinking of how to effectively review literatures. Then we want to look at strategies, citation tools we can use, how to manage our references. As we move along, I'll be moving out of this page, going into other pages just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. But more importantly, one thing that is very good today is that the resource that we have here, we serve as a sort of a repository of resources, so that by the time you have it, you are able to see a lot of links that you can use as you're moving on. Like take, for instance, I'm going to go back. When you get to pages like this, you see all these blue links. They are actually tutorials that you can, click and watch. Some may be as long as 4 hours, and some may be as short as 6 minutes, 7 minutes, so that if you have attention deficits, you can pick the ones that are in pieces, and that will help you. And if you are the one that can actually stay through, you can pick the one that probably may take you about 4 hours. Like this video now, this tutorial is about 4.5 hours. So it will teach you everything you need. Definitely, you know that the time we have here will not avail us to effectively discuss everything we need to do. But the resources will be of great help to you, that after the class, you can go over it, take it to YouTube, learn more about it. And from those YouTube videos, you can see other videos that are related to that you can actually use that will be of great help to you. So let's move on as we start the lecture. The first thing is, what are the best practices? That's where we start. When you want to master research efficiency, what are the best practices? Again, these are not hard and fast rules. It doesn't mean that they are not the rules. They are just one of the rules. The difference here is that it's not as though anybody that doesn't follow this is not doing it the right way. No. But these are just best practices. Then apart from that, we now move into how to effectively review literatures. So you're thinking about how to plan, how to scope information online, how to search and manage your sources, how to synthesize and have critical analysis. Some of all these things will be more of referring you to resources from where you can learn this in a deeper way. And after leaving that, we go into just a little bit of demo, Google LLM, Mendeley, Zotero, LaTeX, Overleaf, and all the rest. And after that, we also look at how you manage and store your resources. So from there, let's talk first about the best practices. The first thing you want to do, and again, as I've mentioned earlier on, is that more of what you learn here today are things that I'm referring you to places where maybe 30 minutes video, 20 minutes video, you're able to learn this in a deeper way. So if you want to do research, what are the best practices? The first thing is that you need to clearly define your research objective. Like in the first part of it is that you really want to understand what you want to do. So when you know what you want to do, that is what will guide you to what you want to do. Let me put it this way. When you know what you want to do, that will now guide you to what you need to do to be able to do what you want to do. So when you define your research objective, the next thing is you want to think of how do I get materials that I will use for this research. That is when the repositories now come in. Take, for instance, we have Google Scholar. Here you already have the links and all the rest, to all these places where you can search for resources. So you have Google Scholar, you have Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science, and all the rest. But whenever you want to search on these platforms, there are ways you can search that will help you to search in a most efficient way. Now, take for instance Google Scholar. I mentioned below. I want to bring that up now so that we discuss that and we don't have to go over it again. Now, when you are searching on Google Scholar, one thing you want to understand is that, okay, if I'm able to pick it now, let's just talk about it from here. So when you are searching for resources on Google Scholar, there are ways you can set the parameters on Google Scholar that will help you to get the best outputs. What do I mean? Currently, I work on things that deal with model bias, uncertainty quantification, information theory, and all the rest. If I want to search for papers that are the best in that area of research at this time, number one, I need to use booleans like and, or, not, and all the rest. Trying to connect thematic points. That is one. Then number two, I need to set the parameters to take, for instance, you are looking at a situation where you want to pick journals that are published in the last 5 years. Because when you are making your citation, you don't want to cite papers that are very old. In fact, the rule of thumb is like papers that are just like published 5 years from the year you are working. So if we are in 2025 now, when you are searching, you want to look at papers that are around 2020 to now. But again, that rule of thumb is not hard and fast rule in the sense that, take for instance, random forest is one of the algorithms in machine learning. Random forest was published some number of years ago. So if you want to, so such kind of publication, you call them legacy paper. Any other people can use any other terminology. Meaning that this was the foundational paper. That was the paper where the methodology itself was published. So if you are trying to use the rule of thumb that we are talking about now, that, oh, I was told that whenever I want to search for paper on Google Scholar or here and there, I must only set to only the last 5 years, then you'll be making a mistake. Because if you are looking for that paper and you set the parameters, I'm going to show this now in a few minutes time, and you set the parameters to 5 years, you will never find that paper because that paper was published many years ago. So if you are doing a general search, you may relax that rule of thumb that, oh, set the parameters this way. But if you are trying to look at what is current in the field at this time, then you need to set the parameters in such a way that the latest publications on that field is what you're going to have. Let's demonstrate what we're talking about. Let me open Google Scholar at this point. And let's assume that I want to search maybe on information theory, and model bias. Now, the and here is trying to connect two related fields. That's what I was talking about. What I was talking about here using operators like and, or, not, and all the rest. So I'm trying to look for papers that talk on information theory and papers that talk on model bias. So I'm connecting the two of them with and. Then another thing is, okay, let me search. So this is where I was talking about parameters the other time. So at this point, he's asking you different kind of things. He wants you to give the time link. These are the parameters I was talking about. Because after putting information theory and model bias, it gives, in fact, here we have about 6 million results. The question is this: do you have the time in this world to read 6 million papers? Obviously, you do not have that time, and you can never have that time. It is impossible for you to have time to read 6 million papers. And that came out in just 12 seconds. Not even 12 seconds, 0.12 seconds. So from that point, what do you want to do? You come to this time and you want to customize the range. So we are in 2025 now, 2025 to 2020. So you are searching the last 5 years. Don't forget, when we searched without putting any barrier, it gave us about 6 million results. Then when you click on search, so you now have only 30,600. So you can see the scaling from 6 million to 30,000. That's a great reduction. I don't have time for us to be doing the mathematics now. If you divide 30,000 or if you divide 30,000 by 6 million, that means, I don't know, maybe less than 1%. So it has removed about 99% and is giving you papers that are published in the last 5 years. Now, in academics, we have what we call patents. Patents are novel discoveries. You can always read about all of all these things before. A very simple way, because we are all researchers here. If you are here, you see include patent, but you don't even know the meaning of patent. It is easy to understand. let me assume that as at now, I don't know the meaning of patent. I just need to go to Google. Google is my friend. I'll just say that, what is the meaning of patent? What is the meaning of patent? Let's assume that I don't know the meaning of patent. In simple terms, you have the answer. What does a patent mean? A patent is a legal right to an invention given to a person or entity without interference from others who wish to replicate, use, and sell it. So that means something must be very good before they can give someone a legal right. So that means 3 persons have published or are published journals, articles, and all the rest. One person is having a patent, the other two are not having a patent. That means that the one person that had that patent must have done something that is more novel, more praiseworthy, that is having more impact. That again, you can give all the adjectives. So again, it doesn't mean that anytime you want to search, you are only searching for people that have patents. If you are doing that always, then you will also be missing out some of the important papers that you need to review. But again, if you also want to understand that, oh, people that have worked on this area, and there are people that have had patents doing this work, what have they done? What is the thing that distinguishes their work, that is making them to have patent? What is the novelty that they brought into research that is making them to have patent? So if you click this now, from 32,600, we are now in 32,100. So you can see the reduction. At this point, you can now open up and see through. But on a general note, you really do not need to always underline the word, because one challenge that people in academics are trying to avoid now is the fear of people abusing a general information. What do I mean? There is that fear of, if I now mention that, oh, try and look at the ones that have patent, abusing it by always using the ones that have patent. And by that, you are also omitting some important part of research. So while it is good that you include the ones that have patent and not the rest, that does not mean that you exclude every other paper. But a rule of thumb, as I mentioned earlier, is that you want to search, using this link, so that at the end of the day, I don't know, Mr. Olawale Olani, you can mute so that there won't be echo. Thank you. So that at the end of the day, you are able to search and bring the most recent papers. Then again, you can still see review article, you can sort by date, you can sort by relevance, and all the rest. So all these things are ways you can look for paper that you want to review. So we go back to where we're coming from. So number 2 is that you use systematic search engines like Google Scholar, Scopus, PubMed, Web of Science. Almost all of these are doing the same thing. The next thing is, again, we are talking about the best practices. The next thing is you want to leverage on citation tools. What do we mean by citation tools? We are talking about why did I breathe deep? I'm breathing deep because I have 32,100 results. Do I need to read or to, even if it is scanned through 32,000 papers? That's quite massive. How do I do that? Let's take one example at this point, Google LLM. And this is very fascinating in the sense that we are here. Google LLM is telling us that think smarter, not harder. Okay, Google LLM, what do you try? What do you have for me? He said, try notebook. I click it. He said, I should try it. Let me come out of here now. I have another place where I can quickly use that. Can you still see my screen? Hello, just one person can unmute. Can you still see my screen? What are you seeing on my screen now? What are you seeing on my screen now?
Sign in page.
Sign in page. Great. That's why I am asking. I would have been speaking to myself. Yeah. I've already changed it. Can you see a new screen now?
Yes, you are on LN.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you. Yeah. So now this is the Google LLM page. So let's assume that I'm at the very, I want to go back to the, okay, so now, okay. Yeah, so I am in Google LLM now. How do I use Google LLM? So create new. I create a new page. He's asking me that, what do I want to do? Okay, I want to understand some papers. If I want to understand what is written in those papers, he asked me to upload a source. I click on it. He asked me to choose file. Then I click on choose file. It takes me to my folder that I've arranged and all the rest. And let's assume that I come to I come to MTSQ research, electronic components. Okay. So now this person is the one that is a leading authority in this particular research field. Let me highlight all the papers here. The way I'm highlighting now, I just press Control and I click all of them. And probably maybe I can test Control A. All of them are highlighted. I open it, and you can see on this side that those papers are being loaded. They are being loaded. They are being loaded. They are being loaded. They are being loaded. Before you know it, we have all the paper loaded into the page. Just a few minutes more. Yeah. So we can see now that we have selected all the papers. Now, what do you now want to do? Let me take you back to my page so that you see what we are doing. Stop sharing. I want to show you where that paper is coming from because I want to give you a little bit of background so that when we are discussing, you won't get lost in the technical jargons that I will be mentioning. MTS Cube, electronic components. So I'm sharing my screen again now. So this is one of the research that I'm involved in. And that research is actually talking about what we want to investigate is if the geometry of electronic plates affects the currents that those electronic boards are producing. I've just given you our team, what we are trying to research about, the research questions we want to address. You know, want to know the gap width that is on the plates, the length of the things that are quoted on the board, the height, dimension, and all the rest. We want to know if the geometry of the electronic plates, like as we have a phone now, if you blow your phone open, you will see that there are some panels inside it. Like almost any electronic gadget, your laptop, if you blow it open, you will see some panels in it. Like just mention any electronic gadget. When you open that electronic gadget, you will always see electronic plates inside it. Some people will call it motherboard, some will call it panel and all this. Our research question is we want to know if the geometry, the design pattern of those plates affect the current they are producing. That's the research question we are working on. So now, this Rajan Ambat is one of the leading authors in this field, is in engineering. Now, I've already downloaded lots of papers from this man, and I think I have about 17 of them. The question now is this: will I sit down to read all the 17? I have coursework, I have this, I have that, and all the rest. So we are back to where we are coming from. So I'm giving you the background of what we are doing. Let's go back to where we have our Google LLM. So in this Google LLM now, we have already uploaded all these things. The question now is that we can now begin to chat, just the same way you chat with your friend on WhatsApp, chat on Instagram, Facebook, and all the rest. So start chatting. The first thing is that we have 17 sources now. You can see it, 17 sources. Can you see the highlighted 17 sources I highlighted? Because I want to see that we're on the same page. Can you see it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Great, thank you. So now the next is that start typing. Okay. The question is that I can now ask, what is the common theme in all these 17 papers? Now, before I put enter, because immediately enter is before you need results to be coming out. This is what would have taken you average of I don't know how long, depending on how great you are in reading paper and the level of proficiency you had. So if you are to read this, let's say averagely it takes you 2 or 3 days to read one paper. If you read one paper in 2 or 3 days, that means you are already a great researcher. Depending again on the volume of the paper and the depth of the paper as well. So, but let's just say average of 2 days. 2 times 17, that's about 34, right? So that will take you more than 1 month to read through the 17 papers for you to be able to see the connection and see the common theme in all of them. But in few seconds, Google LLM will tell us what the common theme is. You can see it. Before I finish saying what it will do, it's already telling us that, oh, this is the common theme. Is it based on the provided excerpts? The common theme in these papers revolve around reliability of electronics, particularly printed circuit boards. That's what I was telling you the other time, that I want to see how the current affects it under influence of environmental factors like humidity, contamination, and temperature, and how different materials and processes affect their reliability. The current they produce, how those current, how long the electronic device will last before it breaks down. So now from there, you now see the word reliability. So several sub-teams emerge with the overarching topic. From there, you go into, and all of these things, I don't need to go into the technical jargon and all the rest of this. So after seeing that, again, don't forget that this thing is also giving you references. So like as he's quoting, let's go back here. At the beginning, it tells you all of this, it gives you one. So it gives you this, where that is coming from. So if I click that now, it will show me the source that is quoting, the paper that is coming from, and it will also let me know around where I can find what he is talking about in that paper. Okay, you can see it here already highlighted. Then if I move on down, the next one, it talks about this. If I click it, it will show me that, okay, this that we are talking about here is coming from this second paper. This is the source of the paper. And I am quoting from, this is the beginning of the paper. Then as you move inside the paper, he's telling you where you can find what he's talking about. Because it's like this, helping you to summarize all the 17 papers now. And, after all that, you move ahead. From there, you're able to pick the important message in that particular paper. You move down again, you come here, it tells you this includes this. It tells you where that is coming from. That is coming from the 10th paper out of all the 17 we uploaded. And it will tell you where he is quoting from. This one is actually around the abstract. As you move down again, role of contaminants. So instead of you to read all the 17 papers and try to be connecting the dots, this is like in few seconds, less than 1 minute. It's able to read all the paper, able to summarize, able to bring the connection. Okay, because of our time, because we have a long way to go, let's say again, what was the first question? The first question is, what is the common theme in all of these 17 papers? So the question is that you can now say that what is the contrasting opinion in these papers? So at this time, you want to tell you that, oh, their conclusions are not the same. A is saying this, B is saying that. One is finding that A equals to B. The other one is saying A is not equals to B. So at this point, you move up again, you look at it, what are the contrasting views that they have? He said the sources present contrasting opinions and findings. A did almost the same experiment, he landed at X. B did the same experiment, he landed at Y. And both X and Y are not the same. They are two different things. Okay, let's look at how they differ in their research. The first one, we are looking at what is common to all of them. The next one, we are looking at what is the difference between all of them. So the sources of the present contrasting opinion finding in several areas related to reliability of electronics, particularly concerning the influence of material processes and environmental conditions. Here are some of the contrasting things, and from there, you begin to pick it. Just as we did before, you can click it, it will show you where that one is coming from, and all the rest, all the rest, all the rest. Then you can again ask, what are the common methodologies? Because you also want to know how are they doing what are the common methodologies in all the 17 papers. You want to know what are the common methodologies. Is there a methodology that is common to all of them? It may not be. At the end of the day, it may be only 2 that is common to maybe 8 of them. Then it gives you the answer. Again, you can come back again. The result is out. It said the sources indicate several common methodologies employed in investigation of electronics reliability, particularly in relative and not the other. Then again, it gives you all those methodologies. At the end of the day, you may also want to say, out of all these methodologies, which one has the best performance? Again, don't forget, it is when you ask intelligent questions, you will get intelligent answers. So your goal is to be able to ask intelligent questions. And to do that is not a big issue. Just go to our friend, YouTube. Ask on YouTube, how can I ask AI research tools intelligent questions? I have not done that, but I am almost 100% sure, maybe 99.99% sure that you will see a YouTube video that's probably maybe I've even seen it before, and I think I haven't. And we're going to do that in this class as well. Okay, so of all this, it is giving us now, of all the methodologies that have been applied, determining of all these methodologies, which one has the best performance. Determining the methodology that has the best performance is complex, as it depends on specific goals of investigation. However, considering the information in the sources, here are the analysis of methodology highlighted. So it will tell you the one that, long story short, is that you are streamlining things. You are streamlining things. You are streamlining things. So when you go into it, you can now go into each of the paper and be able to pick all other things out. So again, maybe just one more thing before we move. What are the common mathematical formulations in the papers. So maybe there is some equations that is common to almost all of them. Then you bring it out. From there, you already know, oh, this is the formula they always use to do moisture uptake calculation. This is the paper they use for RC circuit modeling. This is the one they use for electrochemical kinetics equation, and on and on and on. So long story short is that we are done with Google LLM. You go to the Google LLM, upload the papers you want to do, chat with it just like you are chatting with your friend. Like you are chatting with a friend that knows the answer, and you are supplying the base from which it will be extracting answers for you. And before you know it, the work of 10 hours can be reduced to less than 30 minutes, and off you go. So we are done with Google LLM. Let's go into where we are coming from. Okay. I'm not see. Okay. Yeah. So we are there now. So number one thing is define your research objective. Number two, search for papers on Google Scholar. We have already experimented that. The next thing is you want to leverage your citation tools. Example is Google LLM. That's what we have just demonstrated how to do. Apart from that, we have Mendeley. We still see this below. We have Zotero and Edmonds and not the rest. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to organize and tag your folders. This is like summarizing everything that is below. You want to summarize them into teams, into methodologies. You want to do it. And when you are summarizing, let me again stop and share something with you in a way that just answers this, how you do the summarization and tagging and all the rest. Now, look at my screen. And I intend doing this, and it's good we are at that stage now. When he's talking about you want to store things in, now this is my folder. What I am doing on this folder on laptop is the same thing you can do with the ones that are stored in the cloud. And I think this is a common knowledge for everybody. Like, okay, the first thing here is case academics. I open it. I outline where I'm keeping the coursework, outline each semester for 2023, for 2024. This is my lab where I'm working MDSQ, my tools, NetCell, our tutorial for high school students, spring 2024, spring 2025. You know, this is another research study protocol and all the rest. Then let's assume that I pick MDSQ because this is the research folder. I open it, conferences. So probably maybe whatever I'm doing on conferences, I put it there. This one research digitization, another research electronic components, another research on statistic quantification, another research fractography, you know, things that I'm putting in Git, information theory, that's another research, another research. So what we worked on the other time now, where we bring out those papers, was on electronic components. And inside that electronic components, we have different kind of folders again, then a particular author. This one, I'm bringing everything on the concept of author, because that author was the leading, based on the people we are collaborating with, that author was the leading author in that field. So I needed to get almost, if not all his papers, then be able to know what I can do with it in the research that we are doing. So if I go out of there, let's assume that I come to information theory. I have that there, what I'm working with, my data set, my code, and all the rest. So in just a simple way like that, you organize. And what I am doing on the system here, and I'm not doing this for this meeting that we're having now. I just have to do this because this is the way I need to do. That will help me. Instead of today, I download the paper, I work on it, I love that paper, I really need it. Maybe in the next 2 weeks, and I want to look for that paper again. I'm now looking at my download. No, that will not help. Even on a semester basis, we are in 2025 now, this is spring semester. Okay, I have 3 things that I'm working on. And from there, I'm able to pick different things in different places. Just keep them where you can easily find them and look at what you need, the resources you need, and all the rest. So that's just organization, which is very simple, and anybody can do that. So we are out of here. Let's go back to the next thing. The next thing is, so what we are doing on your local computer, you can as well do online. And very soon we're going to see that when we go to Zotero. Although we'll give tutorials link on Mendeley and all the rest. So the next thing is you want to organize your references, tag them, and put them in folder and all the rest. We'll show example of this in more details when we get to Zotero. Then another thing is we want to annotate, summarize key papers and all the rest. When we move ahead as well, possibly we may do this. But if not, definitely you will have videos that I believe I've already touched on all this. Then again, stay updated with alerts, AI assistants. We've already used AI assistant just this evening for you on how to do some of this. We have used example of Google LLM. The other thing is we want to utilize latex, overleaf, and all the rest. And Google, a lot of ways you can combine Google Scholar with LaTeX overleaf. We are going to talk about that as well in a few minutes. Then, apart from that, again, you also want to adopt version control. Those we will see more of all those things in video tutorials that are already in this link. So, because of our time, so other things you can use, you can also use Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive. If you are using Google, go with Google Drive. If you are using Microsoft, you go with OneDrive. If you are using other than Google or Microsoft, you can go for Dropbox. All these things, they are using almost the same thing in different platforms, different companies, and all the rest. So now, because of our time, we have to move fast. How do you effectively review literature? Now, the good thing that I mentioned when we started this is that this resource will be a sort of a place where you can see lots of resources. Number one, by the time you have this link, by the time you have the document with you, anything you see that is highlighted in blue, just click it. There is a video there for you. So that we have just about 1 hour, 30 minutes or more or less. We cannot exhaustively treat everything you need to know. So what I've done is that I've linked videos. In fact, very important ones that you really need. I put as much as 3 or 5 videos under one subtopic. So that after we are done, you can pick this document, go on and on with a lot of videos, and maybe in 2-3 weeks, if you're able to finish all the videos, you'll come out a very, very sound researcher. So if you want to identify research gap in literature, time is not there. Just click on this. After the meeting, you see a YouTube video that will tell you how to do that. Identify themes and gap in literature. If you want to know how to position your own research, what is it? So before I move, even though I'm not going to the intricacies, is that when you're talking about research gap, is that people are working. Okay, let me give you a case study of identifying research gap in literature. Since we are in machine learning, let me appeal a little bit to my base. When you are dealing with, okay, I want to do this. Yeah. Can you see my new screen? One person can just unmute and let me know. Can you see my new screen?
Yeah, Google.
Yeah, great, thank you. So now I want to explain with what I'm doing currently on identifying research gap, even though I may not be doing this for all other things. So let's assume that I'm opening one thing that I am doing. This is one of the work that I'm doing currently in my research, and I'm just going to give this as a case study. So I'm not going to go into the details and all the rest. Now, at this point, the screen you are seeing here, I am performing singular value decomposition. That may be too big a jargon, and I don't need to go into all of those things. But what we are doing with this singular value decomposition is that we want to understand the direction. Again, forget the matter of direction. Just understand what I'm saying. Forget the technical jargon. So we are trying to understand the direction of our Fisher's matrix. The first direction is showing us that, oh, this is not linear. This is like L or whatever. The next one is like maybe J or whatever. The next one is like one straight line with some outliers. The next one is like curvilinear, and on and on and on like that, and on and on like that, until we get to like 22 directions. What am I trying to think of all of this is that in the assumption of ordinary least square, there is that underlying assumption that the relationship between Y, which is your output, which is your target variable, and your input, which is your X, the underlying assumption is that for ordinary least square, that is your regression. Okay, forgive me for using the word ordinary least square. Regression. All of us know anything called regression. The underlying assumption for that regression is that ordinary least square regression is that, okay, the relationship between X and Y is linear. So that is based on research. You are now working. You now discover that for what you have, and probably people want to use regression for it, you look at the directions of the relationship between X and Y. I know it's better transpose S, but again, let's leave all the technical details. But we are looking at, oh, the relationship between it is not linear. So automatically, we are already identifying research gap. The next question on your mind is now that, oh, do we have a methodology that has been proposed to undo when the relationship is not linear? If yes, bravo, there is no research gap, quote and unquote. If no, hooray, there is a research gap. So you now want to develop that approach that will cater for the situation when the relationship between Y and X are not linear. So that's just the basic thing about identifying research gap. That's all, in very simple language. You want to look at what people have, done in time past. Look at all the things that they have said, this equals to this, this is this, this is this. And you are not like, oh, in my case, I saw something, that thing is not. Oh, that means there is a gap here. We can feel it. Now, the beautiful thing, the very, very beautiful thing, and I sincerely mean this, and it's a joy to us. The beautiful thing is that research gaps can never be filled to the brim, that there will be nothing again to fill. The reason is this. As you are seeing that, oh, the relationship is not linear. What of if we now propose the one that is curvilinear? Immediately you are proposing the one that is curvilinear. Another person will say, oh, hallelujah. Sorry, I'm a Christian. I'm not apologizing for I'm a Christian, but I'm bringing Christian lingo. Hallelujah is happy. Oh, curvilinear. I've seen a solution for that problem. But another person will say, from the solution you are giving, we are seeing another problem. He said, what is the problem again? He said, because you have tried to trace it perfectly, there is a problem called multicollinearity. There is a problem called overfitting. The fitting is just too perfect now that even though what you are doing on this one now is exactly correct, the goal of prediction that you want to do later, if you are now predicting on input that you don't have before, the input will be totally wrong because the model you have built now has so much learned this data that it performs 100% on this data, but it performs extremely poor on other data set that you are now introducing newly. That's now another research gap. Another person wants to solve that problem of overfitting and multicollinearity. He's now proposing another method, then partial least square, proposing this, proposing that. I don't want to go too much into technical details. And at that point, as they are proposing all those solutions, the solution they are providing, there are also some problems with that as well. Maybe the solution they are providing is using the mean to estimate what you want to predict. But there is a problem that if you are using the mean, what if the relationship is not even dealing with mean, it's actually dealing with the maximum and the minimum? That by the time you add maximum and minimum together, everything will become zero. Maybe you have -1 and +1. -1 + 1 is 0. So when you look at the mean, 0, you say nothing is happening. But there is something happening. There is -1 at the bottom. There is +1 at the top. But because you are looking at two different angles, and instead of you to look at it from the two different angles, you are looking at it at this mean. You are not seeing anything. Then that person, okay, can we move away from mean regression and go to quantile regression? Research gap. I'm trying to use the regression that is very popular for everybody. I think all of us should be a little bit aware with regression since we are coming here for machine learning and not the rest. So someone that is using mean regression is trying to solve a problem, but because probably the problem you are working with have to deal with very upper class, very lower class. If you are just adding it together, the one below will be cancelling the effect of the one above, and it will be as though there is nothing happening in the mean space. But at the end of the day, there is something happening. But because of the methodology you are using, the effect is cancelling out. There's someone who now say, oh, there's a research gap. I want to propose a method that will be using quantile regression so that we can capture the ones that what is happening at the upper quartile and at the lower quartile way. And that person is proposing that. Another person is saying, but what if the variance is not the same? Well, what if we use method that deal with variance? He will propose another method that deals with variance because mean is first moment, the other one is second moment. So what am I trying to say is that every solution proposed will lead to another problem. Every solution proposed will lead to another problem. And that other problem, when it's being solved, the solution of that other problem will lead to other problem. And that's why this research has been for many years and it will continue. Another way another person can do research gap is the two solutions proposed. Someone can come and abridge the two of them together so that it will overcome the demerit of one method, overcome the demerit of another method, and look at the strong point of the two methods and try to develop another methodology that is incorporating the strengths of the two methods while he's trying to diminish the demerits of the two methods. So these are ways to identify, research gaps when you are working with research. Let me move on because of our time. My time is gradually running away. So again, I've already told you, identify research gap. Just click on this link. You will see video that will tell you on that. Again, how do you position your research? Click on the video again. I will not, because we really do not have time. You come here, how to write strong thesis statement. You come down again, how to develop conceptual framework. Click it again. It will show you how to. So I've already linked lots and lots of videos, so that because of want of time, what we cannot do here, you have videos. And the good thing about YouTube is that as you are opening any of those videos, similar videos will be around this side. You can learn more. Another thing you can do, open the YouTube video of that person, then go to the playlist of that person. That thing that you are looking for, go and look at something related to it. I mean, the long story short is that the internet is just your friend. You can get lots and lots and lots of ideas. So time is going. Planning and scoping. How do you plan? How do you scope? The first thing is you want to define your research question. We'll talk about this. You want to use principle of inclusion and exclusion. Let me quickly talk about this. I'm not going to take everything you see in blue. It means that if you open it, you will see a video that will tell you what to do. So I'm not going to be opening the video again. This is the last I'm going to open. So define your research question. If you want to understand that much, click the video. You can see principle of inclusion and exclusion. Let me just quickly talk about this very fast, and I'll move on to another thing. Is that okay? You are looking for a research, you have this systematic review and not the rest. How do you know the ones you want to include? How do you know the one you want to exclude? So that you can have the most relevant publications for your review. That's what that is talking about. The mapping key concepts. Okay, what is like what we are doing the other time when we were chatting? What is common to all of these things? What are the key concepts in all of these things? And that will help you to organize and put things away. Okay, how do you organize your work? The other time, I opened my desktop to show you how I can organize things. At this point, I stand the risk of not using my official page because I'm not the owner of that library, and that will be infringing on my group's privacy if I open it at this platform. But I'm going to try to just use an account that is not my official account. Again, Mendeley, I'm not going to go into that. When you go down here, I think I have that around there, Mendeley and Zotero. I've already linked tutorial video. This is Mendeley tutorial 1, Mendeley tutorial 2, Mendeley tutorial 3, Zotero 1, Zotero 2, Zotero 3. Then this is another one, a taste of Reddit. Reddit is a good place where you can chat with people, just like Facebook. But the difference between this and Facebook now is that Facebook is social media. Reddit is where academic discussions go. Just like you have Stack Overflow and all the rest. So like this one now, this is just a taste of Reddit. Just what is Zotero? What are the best practices on Zotero? You can see that on Reddit, and from there you can get engaged, open an account there. Other things, again, for students, how do I organize my dissertation? This video will be of help to you. So we're not going into all the details. Time is running, but at least let's touch Zotero for an example. So take for instance, I want to open Zotero, and let me come back here. Zotero, okay. So this is Zotero website. You say, oh, your personal research assistant. What do you want to do? Do you want to download it, or you want to log in? Okay, let me say I want to log in. Now, I don't have an account here. I have official accounts, but assuming that I say, okay, I don't have register a free account. Let me see. Okay, this will waste our time. This will waste our time. And let me just see that quickly. Username. Okay, I'm with you.
Doctor, I have a Zotero account. I don't know. Would it be
If you can
help?
quickly use that, Abby. Okay, yes, put it up. That will save
Okay.
that will save us. That will save us time
Okay.
fast. I don't want to use my official Zotero account because of the things that are in there. That will be breach of privacy on my part to open my research group. To open my research group account when we are not all there. Great. So this is a good one. So what do you want to do? Just the same way. See, there is nothing big in Zotero. Here you have the libraries. Here you have implementations. I can't really click. So the point is that you can have a folder. Inside the folder, you can have files. Inside the files, thank you, God bless you. Inside the files, you can see the creator. It will tell you the PDF. Now, there is something that is supposed to be on this where we have 18 items in view. There is something that's supposed to be there that just help us to click one of the folders so that will come up. So this is what we're talking about. Where you see, no, go up.